Chapter 9, John, or Lancelot, I suppose. They spent a happy half hour among the gooseberry bushes, where the fruit hung like golden lanterns among the dark leaves. They ate until the prospect of bursting even one more on her tongue made Rosemary look at them with distaste. Then they played cowboys and Indians, and then they tried trawling along the widest gravel path with one of the nets off the gooseberry bushes, but they caught nothing except a couple of man-eating sharks. They were really sticks. So they thought they'd better put the nets back before any more holes got torn. And then, feeling rather hot, they came out of the kitchen garden and lay flat on the dusty grass under the cedar tree on the lawn. It was really a very hot day. They could see the main drive from here before it curved round to the front door. Presently a sleek black car slipped down the drive on the way to the main road. "How lovely to have a car like that," said Rosemary, sitting up and pouring a handful of dust from one cupped palm to the other. "Oh, that's nothing," said John carelessly. "Aunt Arundel's got 3, counting the little grey one." "Good gracious," said Rosemary, deeply impressed. "Have you got 3? "Oh, as a matter of fact, we've got 4, and a pony and an aeroplane. What have you got?" Rosemary was surprised. Somehow John didn't look like the kind of boy to have a pony or an aeroplane. There was a dard in the seat of his grey flannel shorts, and the rubber was beginning to peel from the toes of his sandals. She didn't boast herself as a rule, but it seemed hard not to be able to produce anything at such a challenge. So without bothering about the consequences, she said, "I've got a witch's broom and a cat that talks." "Oh, that's silly," said John. "You couldn't have." Rosemary sat up, cross-legged and very straight. Her face had gone quite red. "I have, so there." John rolled over and looked at her. "All right, you needn't get so waxy." "But you don't believe me, and it's true." "But you can't prove it." "Right," said Rosemary hotly, "I will. I know a magic spell that will make the cat come to me whether he wants to or not." "All right," said John, grinning hatefully. "Say it." Rosemary stood up. Could she remember the summoning words? She screwed up her eyes and said a little uncertainly, "By squeak of bat and brown owl's hoot, by hellebore and mandrake root, come swift and silent as the tomb, dark minion of the twiggy broom." She opened her eyes again and looked anxiously round. There was no Carbonel. "I say, you do it well," said John, with a note of real admiration in his voice, which at any other time would have given her great satisfaction. But the way in which he didn't even trouble to show that he didn't believe her made her bite her lip with vexation. She looked round desperately for Carbonel once more, and seeing nothing but the sun-baked lawn, to her own surprise, burst into tears. John sat up. "I say," he said awkwardly, "whatever is the matter? I didn't really think you'd believe any of that stuff about me having a pony and an aeroplane. Of course we haven't. We only have an old rattletrap of a car. It was only a game. You'd better have my hanky." "I've got one today," he said, with modest pride. Rosemary was feeling for hers in her knicker leg, without success. "But it is true," she sniffed obstinately. "I have got a broomstick that flies, and a witch's cat." And out came the whole story. John listened with open mouth. She described how she lived with her mother, and how she'd gone to Fairfax Market, and all the strange things that had happened since. "Gosh," said John when she'd finished, "I say, you are lucky. Not the broom business, that's all pretend, though you tell it awfully well. I mean, you are lucky getting your own dinner and cooking it yourself on a gas ring. You must be a wizard." Rosemary was just going to say once more that it was not pretend, but she stopped herself. After all, she could hardly blame him for not believing her. A week ago she wouldn't have believed it herself, and there was some consolation in John's genuine envy for the gas ring dinners. A discreet booming noise came from the house. "That's the first gong for lunch," said John. "We'd better go and wash. Aunt Amabel is very fussy." As they walked towards the house, he told her that although his mother was Mrs. Pendlebury Parker's sister, they were always hard up, and he had a sister of 12, the one with the measles, and a small brother of 4, and they lived in the country. It all sounded very jolly. And that's the end of that chapter, and in the next chapter, which I shall read tomorrow, the spell works.